This is a short video just going over the notes we took over the first part of lesson 3.4. So if you'll recall from Unit 1 Plus, when we're finding the second derivative, we're looking for concavity. And so they define concavity with the following. When your second prime is positive, your function's going to be concave up. And when your second derivative is negative, your original function will be concave down. We call the change in inflection a point of inflection. And the second derivative test I will cover in the next video. It is actually what we covered on December 7th. Okay, and this is first example. We basically just found our first derivative right here. Hang on just a second.
117.
Here's our first derivative. Then we found our second derivative. We set it equal to 0, and we don't necessarily call that a critical number. Your book defines critical numbers as coming from the first derivative. We set up intervals then based on 0, left and right. And then the only difference is over here you're checking the sign on f double prime. And when it's negative, it's concave down. When positive, concave up. So you're plugging in a test value from these intervals here into the second derivative, which is here. And then you're telling me based on that observation if it's concave up or down. The only other thing we talked about was how to get the y value, and on that you're plugging the x value back into the original function. Then we looked at the graph of x to the third from pre-calculus, and we know that's the general shape. We know it's going like this. We know it's concave down, then concave up, which fits what you found in the table. All right, example 2, we did our first derivative, we did our second derivative, we set it equal to 0. Right here, from there we did our intervals, we did test values, we plugged those into the second derivative, we determined concavity and the point of inflection. On example 3, same story. This one's a trig problem, so we did first derivative, second derivative. Now this one says concavity and extrema, so you want to get your critical numbers from your first derivative. You want to set your second derivative equal to 0. We combined everything in one table, and so this table combines the ideas from lesson 3.3 and 3.4 into one table. For the first derivative test, you're checking increasing and decreasing, and when you plug in those these values right here into that second derivative, not those values, but your intervals from those values, you're checking for concavity. And so we determined all of these things that we circled here. And then I did abbreviate your assignment. So this is the assignment for practice problems 3.4a.
110, 111, and 122.
There's a hint there on number 5.
111,
And then we worked out number 6 in class. So you're welcome to use that one in your practice problems. So you're required to do 1, 2, 5, try 6 again, check your work there, and then 7, 8, and 9, you have to do any 2 of them. Okay, that's the end of this video.